Cool. Thank you. Hello. Hey, y'all. How y'all doing? All right. Thank you so much for being here. I'm really excited about this panel. I guess it's a solo panel, but before I get started, the side chick, a non-superhero human in a world of superheroes. Okay, so this is my disclaimer. This is going to be a group discussion, so I only know what I know. That's it. That's my quote. That's my disclaimer. And I want to tell you a little bit about me. So my name is LaGina Rae Harris, however you know me. I love Comic-Cons. I've been going to Comic-Cons for about, 5 or 6 years now. I'm the daughter of a Trekkie. So mom in the front row, wave your hand, mom. I'm a media personality here in Houston. So I have a radio show that I just paused, a couple podcasts. I do MCs, red carpets, all that fun stuff. So if you're looking to get into it, I'm somebody to talk to. I love helping people with that kind of stuff. I'm a visual fine artist, so I paint. And I own multiple businesses, including a mental health nonprofit. So things that I love, one is talking about the future of work because, we're all working like hybrid now and everything. So that's a thing. I love youth engagement, a positive disruptor. That just means that I'm somebody that's always like, why are we doing that? What's that for? Who's involved? I love coffee, steampunk. Okay, like wearing steampunk, that's my thing. I even found steampunk with Star Trek. Star Trek has its whole steampunk theme. I love my nephew and hanging out with him. I love good humans and I love TV. So that's why we're here, because I watch a lot of TV. And during my radio show that I had for 3 years, at the end of every show, I used to do like these spoiler alerts and I'd like go into synopsises about like TV shows and everything. So we're gonna talk about like the side chicks. The reason I picked this one, I love play on words, right? Like they're really not side chicks. These are humans that help superheroes. And I just wanna go through a couple of them. The reason why it's like the old school people like Felicity Smoak and Iris West and everything is because I conceptualized this in like 2018 and I'm finally presenting it now. So that's pretty cool. So let me tell you about the 5 side chicks that I've picked out. So there's Felicity Smoak. Y'all know her from The Arrow. Yep. Iris West from Flash, right? And I mean, how many seasons of Flash are there? Like 50, 11 of them. Claire. Now, I'll tell you a little bit more about Claire later, but you may know Claire from Daredevil, or you probably most know her from Luke Cage. Some people watch Jessica Jones. I don't know why that one didn't go off as well, but Jessica, she's in Jessica Jones too. And then Alex Danvers from Supergirl. And then Pepper Potts. So I ran the gamut, y'all, but I picked these ladies out for specific reasons. So their common traits that they have is, one, they lack superpowers, allegedly. We'll talk a little bit about that because I think that they do have superpowers. And then 2, they like exhibit bravery, unwavering, like loyalty and all of those kind of things. And each of them do it in their own way. So we'll talk about that a little bit. And then the main things that all of them do is they kind of geek out in their own way. Like, Felicity is an IT geek. And then Alex, like, not only knows martial arts, but is in what is, I guess, would be considered like the feds for us, right? So we'll go through all those. And then they provide emotional guidance, each of them for their superheroes. Because if you kind of think about all 5 of these shows or movies or series, these women kind of are like the mental support for the superhero. Okay. And then important things to remember is that, again, we're going to have a conversation. So I'm using this mic, so I'll actually hand it to y'all in a little while. So let's talk about Felicity Smoak. So Felicity Smoak is a side chick for many reasons, but let me switch to page number 2. So she first appears in the Arrow in episode 3. I don't know if you remember, but basically Arrow comes back from being on this island and gone forever, and he comes back and he's kind of having like these woe is me moments because he can't figure out where he's supposed to fall in society. And then he gets in this like huge like Arrow bullet fight, and he has a laptop that he needs this mysterious bullet taken out of. And this is like 3rd episode in, and Felicity's like on her computers doing her techie stuff, and here in comes the Arrow, right? Oliver. And she's like, hi. And I think the picture of it, hold on, that's this picture right here. Where is it? Yeah, this is the picture of her from episode 3 when she's actually like a little further on. So in that, so she shows up in episode 3, and all of a sudden she becomes a character that they were testing out at first, but then she becomes like a long character in it. And as we go through most of these, what you'll find out is that each of these characters were either fused together from the comic books or weren't even in the comic books and were created as a support person for a superhero. So why I like Felicity is several reasons. One, she's an IT geek, right? So she has a whole bunch of computer skills. She's a hacker. And I don't know if y'all know, but even here in Houston, there are like tons of hackathons. Like you can go sign up and do hackathons and learn how to hack things because it's actually a skill. The government will provide funding for you to do it. You can go to college doing it. You can get a full-time job hacking as a good guy. So Felicity's one of the good ladies, the good women that is doing this hacking stuff. She's a little bit awkward. Raise your hand if you're kind of awkward and you just like, yeah, I mean, most of us here are awkward, right? Like that's why we're here, because this is our safe space. But yet she still endures and comes out and does everything. And then she believes in right. So all 5 of these women, you're going to hear me say this over and over again, but many times throughout the multiple seasons of the Arrow, Felicity kind of like stands up even to Oliver when he goes on his vigilante things. You remember there was like 10 episodes where Oliver just decides he's going to like murder, death, kill everybody. And Felicity like really was like, this isn't cool. I love you. I haven't told you I love you yet, but I love you, but please stop. So this is why I really like Felicity, because I feel like for at least the first 3 seasons, she's kind of like underwritten is like this kind of quiet, timid person. And then she slowly comes out, right? And the way she's assisting is the technical support. So she's providing real-time support to missions. Cause you remember Oliver buys the nightclub and he puts a secret layer. Did you know about that? So okay. Let me tell y'all that too. So another reason I'm doing this is because I think everybody should watch TV. It's a mental health thing for me. It gives me a break. Okay, so now you're gonna watch Arrow after this. Yeah, this is Green Arrow. Don't sleep on it. So when he comes back, he actually buys a nightclub and he puts his like secret Arrow layer down in the nightclub. And so she actually ends up like working for the Queen's empire, but at night she's like working for the Arrow, Oliver, who is Oliver Queen, right? And so she provides technical support to missions. So she's like mission ops pretty much, from being this like kind of quirky, quiet IT geek to mission ops, and literally is like, no, go left, go here, do this, and strategic planning. And then again, this thing about emotional support. Oliver goes crying to Felicity all the time about everything. It's the classic person in your face that you don't realize is in love with you, and Oliver's just gallivanting around being like this bachelor and everything and being a superhero, and Felicity's in love with him the whole time. And then by the time he figures it out, she's kind of like, I think she's with somebody else at that point. You remember, like, it's just like, it's a whole plot twist. So again, don't sleep on Green Arrow or Felicity. If not, watch it for Felicity. So, one of the episodes where I remember that she like shows up in a major way is in the one called The Calm. It's season 3, episode 1. I'm going to give you like the written synopsis so you can go and watch it, because now I really want you to watch it. So she basically identifies the exact location of some arms dealers in the city, because the whole thing with where Oliver lives is like there's drugs, crime, darkness, all those things. So she identifies like the arms dealers, and then she taps into the security cameras. Like she hacks into the security cameras in this episode that's called The Calm. And then, what's his name? Okay, so Oliver Smoak and Roy Harper. I can't remember his villain, vigilante superhero name, but basically she helps them navigate, get the arms dealers, and get the crime syndicate in Sterling City, like, calm down for at least one episode. And then we go to Felicity's superhero moment. All of the people that we're talking about, they all have like their superhero moment. But what I found when I was doing the research for this is a lot of them have it in like crossover episodes. They get it for either crossover episodes or when a parallel universe is created. So for Felicity, it was the Elseworlds episodes. There was 2 of them. And in the second one, she ends up getting superpowers in an alternate reality. And pretty much she does what she normally does, but she has like telekinetic powers, and like all of a sudden she can control IT and stuff. So this is season 3, episode 1. Season 3, episode 1. And it's called The Elseworlds. No, I'm sorry. It's season 5, episode 9. Yeah, season 5, episode 9. And Elseworlds, episode 2. So you know how we stack the 2 parts nowadays. So that's Felicity, y'all. And that's the Green Arrow. And then next we have Iris West. Iris West is one of my favorites. I'm supposed to say this at the end, but I'll tell you right now. So Iris West is actually not even part of the universe that she lives in the series. So Iris West was actually from the 2030s, and her parents sent her back. And that's where she conceptualizes in the Flash. So she's like, in the actual comic book, she's not actually from where the Flash is from, Barry. She's not from that episode. So like, as you're going through these, and there's the comic books, and then there's the movies, and then there's the and then there's the series, like what you'll find out is there's a lot of like jumbling up. So when you're following it, you're kind of like, pick a lane, pick a world, pick a time. And that's kind of where you end up, because even in the movie of The Flash, it's not the same timeline as this one right here. Okay. So with Iris, obviously she shows up in the pilot episode. Do y'all remember when the pilot episode was? It was October 7th, 2014. 2014, so 10 years ago, a decade ago. Were you born? You weren't even born. This kid in the front row wasn't even born. Okay, and so, yep. Yeah, so Wally West is her brother. Yeah, in another universe. But Wally in this one, I think he doesn't come up until like season 3 or 4, and it's like a crossover episode where he comes back or something like that. I'm really surprised I know this. You're testing me and I know it. That's crazy. But yeah, so Wally is her little brother from another mother, literally. Okay, so what I really like about her is that obviously she embodies strengths and resilience and all this stuff. But you know, throughout the entire series, not only is she like a journalist, which I love because I'm in media, and she's always like, what's going on? What happened? Did that really happen? I really also like that she rides for Barry the whole time. So even when people like don't believe her, don't believe Barry, she believes him most of the time, and then goes into her investigative journalism and usually finds the answer, and then Barry gets the praise. But that's all good. And she likes going undercover. So those are some reasons that I really like her. Okay, and then let's see. Should I go? Yeah, okay. So her superhero moment really starts in season 4. It's episode 16, and it's called The Flash, and it's called Run, Iris, Run. Do y'all remember that? Did anybody see that episode? I'm gonna take you back to it. So basically, she discovers the Nexus. You remember the Nexus? Okay, so the Nexus of Fate is basically, hold on, no, I skipped ahead, but I'll go to her superpower moment. It's in season 4, episode 16, and it's the melting pot with the bus meta, the melting pot. Do y'all remember the melting pot? See, this is why I'm doing this, because we've got to go back and watch these episodes again. So again, it's season 4, episode 16, the melting pot. And basically, something happens where Barry's like trying to like save everything, and his powers transfer to Iris. So Iris becomes the Flash in the episode. And I mean, it happens further on in the series, it happens more and more. Like the Flash's powers just keep going to everybody. But in this one in particular, Iris gets them and they're accidentally transferred to her. And so she takes on Barry's powers, and she actually is the one that beats the melting pot the first time. So that's kind of how Iris, that's her superpower, her superhero moment. And what you find out is that, like, I remember in that episode, there was like the juxtaposition of her and her human brain, and then being a superhero too, and understanding for a moment what Barry goes through, right? Like, you could save this, but you can't save that. You know, you can do this, but if you do this, and I think there was even a moment she considered like learning how to go back in time with the powers. So there was all that going on. And then okay, so let's go back to the assist. In season 6, episode 13, the Nexus of Fate, that's where like Iris gives her huge assist to Central City, because it's under threat of the metahuman, because I think it was one of the episodes another metahuman got out, because that's the whole Flash, right? The Flash is about the metahumans. They capture them, they get out. The Flash team saves them. Then they go to another universe or another parallel world. And even at some point, you remember Iris and Barry's daughter from another timeline in the future comes back and ends up like helping them and you remember that, right? Like, and lives with them for like 6 or 7 episodes. So that was a whole thing as well. So that's Iris. That's the Flash. Okay, so Claire is all over Marvels. Starting with, I'm gonna talk about Claire from the standpoint of Daredevil the most. But she's all over Marvels. She shows up in Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, The Defenders, and Daredevil. I'm gonna say them again. So she shows up in Daredevil, which we're going to talk about, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, and The Defenders. And uniquely enough, and this is another fun fact that's at the end as well, but Claire is actually 2 different characters in the comic books fused into one. I'll tell you about them a little bit later, but one of them is a nurse and one's a doctor. So the reason, and she first appears in Marvel's Daredevil in season 1, episode 2, and it's called Cut Man because basically the Daredevil gets beat up. He's still in like his paper or his cloth mask. You remember when he first starts and he like cuts out a cloth mask and he run around. So he's still in that. He gets beat up really bad. Claire's working a late shift and he comes in and she basically sews them all together, saves his life. And that's how she gets infused in the Daredevil. It's funny because I don't really remember her from Daredevil versus Luke Cage. Like her, and I think it was because there was like the love interest in that one. And I was like, oh, Claire and Luke or whatever. And so that's where she shows up first. The reason why I really like her is, one, she's into medicine. And then when I was researching about her, I really do like the fact that it's a fusion of 2 characters to bring her into the Marvel universe. And then she really has this no-nonsense attitude. So if you look at her face right there, every photo I found of her on the internet, she's like, because she really just does, she's like, no, No, we're not doing that. Why are you doing that? Really, you cut yourself there. So I really like that. It kind of adds like this really dry comedy to the episodes. And she's always like knee deep in stitches and blood and everything else. And then she constantly puts herself in danger. Like she is fully aware she's a human. I feel like if you go to like Iris West, Iris knows that Barry's going to save her half the time. And so Iris is like, I'm going to go over here and do this. You know, your man runs really fast. He's going to save you. But Claire, like, I don't know. Claire's just like, yeah, sure, we're going to do this and see how it turns out. And so that's the big thing with her. That's why I like her. You know, she's a nurse. She's skilled in injury. And one thing that I find about her is that she really helps with like the psyche of the vigilantes, because like all the people she helps are technically, if you put it like in legal terms, they're criminals, right? They're all criminals. He's like, yeah, they really are. But she's like, okay, I see kind of how you're doing good. Even Jessica Jones, I'm not sure. Like Jessica was, I question her heroism, but here, yeah, whatever. And then Claire never really has like an actual superhero moment. Like there's no crossover episode. There's no parallel universe. Like Claire never actually has a moment in the Marvel's cinema universe where she actually like has superpowers. Her superpower is just medicine. Okay, so that's Claire. And then we have Alex Danvers. So Alex shows up in the first episode. I just realized that, like, even though I'm reading from my notes, like, y'all can see the date. Because I was going to be like, do you remember the date of this one? But October 26th, 2015 is when, yeah, I know. It's just like, dang, time flies. October 26th, 2015. I was just discovering Comic-Cons. And Alex Danvers comes up, Supergirl. So if you go back, there's Superman and then Supergirl. Let me see if I can remember this properly. I feel like Supergirl actually came down before Superman or something, because Superman got caught in some like time. Yeah, okay, yeah. So Supergirl's already actually, she's supposed to be the younger cousin, but she ends up being on Earth longer. So when she lands, she gets adopted into the Danvers family, and Alex ends up being her sister, right? And so they grew up together and everything. Why I like her is that she is a complex character as far as, well, one, she's a badass because she's like, toting guns and doing karate and all this kind of stuff. But then she also explores her family dynamics and everything else. So I feel like her character has the ability, I think she could have her own show. I feel like her character has the ability, like over the course of all her characters, like she really goes into depth. Another thing, I said that several times, that she's the DEO agent, and then she eventually moves up and is like the head person in charge. And then she's a supportive sister. So like throughout the whole thing, Kara and her like really have this dynamic of sisters. They have brunches together, then they go fight crime together. And unlike the other three that we talked about, she's actually fighting side by side with Supergirl in real time, even without superpowers, because she's like in defense mode all the time. And then the episode where she really shows up is in the Line of Fire. I'm trying to remember that episode off the top of my head. Okay, yeah. In the Line of Fire, it's like a new alien threat. Like aliens are always coming down. And now that we know aliens are real, like it's a thing here too. So I'm excited that the DEO is already here. But aliens are coming down, and they start wreaking havoc on National City. And it alerts Alex and the DEO and the agents, and then she goes on a mission. She gathers intelligence, she strategically plans, and she coordinates with the local law enforcement. And she's the one, like in her non-superhero asset, kind of, this is her moment in the Line of Fire where she really starts taking control of the DEO in like a more leadership and commanding way. And then she finally gets her superhero moment, but it's in season 3, But the reason why I referenced season 4 for her like standout moment with the DEO is because throughout that episode, she just really starts becoming this eccentric leader. And then after episode 10, I think there's like 4 or 5 more episodes, and then it goes into season 5 where she starts taking over the DEO. But her superhero moment was in season 3, and it's another crossover episode. I told you, it's like the crossover episodes are the ones that get their powers, and of course she doesn't permanently keep them, but she ends up battling metahumans, and it's Earth X. And it's in part 1, so she doesn't even get to keep them for part 2. So what I encourage you to do is throughout all of these, I think that Flash, Arrow, and Supergirl, and maybe one other, they all have crossover episodes together. So if you watch them in tandem, and you can even Google the crossover episodes, they're really fun to watch to see how like Marvel and everything ties them together, because if you really think about it, they really don't have anything to do with each other except for the writers did a really good job. So think about that. And then, okay, so this is my girl right here, Pepper Potts. How many of us love Pepper Potts? Okay, we got some Pepper Potts. Oh, I'm gonna get you to love everything about these 5 women, okay? So Pepper Potts, she shows up in the 2008 Iron Man. That's the year I graduated undergrad. Oh my gosh. So she shows up in Iron Man. I like Pepper Potts because she is like an executive assistant, but from day 1, she has this look on her face like I'm in charge, but it's very understated. So that's one thing I really like about her. She's super intelligent. And you see this photo right here? That's like one of my favorite parts of like almost all the Marvels, because Tony Stark is doing what Tony Stark does, being pretty much reckless. And he's like, no, I just need you to go inside my entire body and like just get this piece and don't touch it. And it reminds me of, what's that game? What is it? Yeah, Operation. And when she pulls her hand out, she got it. She kind of buzzed him a couple times. Her hands are gooey. But for me, even outside of her superhero moments, that was like superhero because it was scary to do. She's operating. She's really not IT, but she is. She's the strategic planner. She's clearly his not only emotional support, but she's saving his life at this point. So that's why I like Pepper Potts. And then a fun fact, I don't know if y'all know this about her and her suit. Do y'all know about her suit and how it was created and everything? Yeah. Kind of, sort of, but I'm going to give you a fun fact about her suit, too. So Pepper Potts' suit was obviously created by Tony Stark. We know that. But her suit wasn't created for, like, combat and stuff. Her suit was created to protect her. So he created a suit that, like, protected her. So if you remember, I can't remember which one of the movies it was, but her suit starts taking her away from the fight. It's because her suit was created by Tony to like keep her out of the fight, but keep her protected, and to keep her protected if she happens to be in the fight, to get her away from the fight. So those are my 5 side checks. I would love to hear from everybody at this point. Those are the fun facts I have. So basically, let me go over the fun facts with y'all about it. So basically, Felicity Smoak, her original character was in the Firestorm series. So look that up. I kind of started watching it, but now I have a whole nother thing to binge watch. So that's one thing. And then Iris West, like I told you, she's from the 30th century. So basically, she was sent back in time by her parents to escape a devastating war. That's why she was sent back. Her parents sent her back, which is the storyline that is later adapted for the TV show to The Flash. So now that I'm saying that, it ties together, and basically the Flash's TV series is created out of Iris West going back in time to escape a war that her parents sent her from. So that's really cool. That was one of those things that I found out in real time. And then Claire, obviously, what I told you about her, she's a merge of, Claire's down here. She's a merge of 2 characters. So there's Claire Temple and then the night nurse, Linda Carter. And so those are the two characters that she is merged out of, is the night nurse and then Claire's medical expertise. And that's how they came up with the character for Marvel Netflix. And then, of course, the one I told you about, Pepper Potts. And then Alex was specifically created as a support character to Supergirl. So basically, when the writers were writing this, they didn't think that Supergirl's character was dynamic enough to stand on its own. And so they created a character that was the counterpart to her, if you will, but not going to be a direct, it's kind of like Batman and Robin. Not a direct threat, but a support, but also can fight, so that Supergirl's not spending all her time saving Alex. And if you think about it, in some of the episodes, Alex is also saving Supergirl because for some reason, like, I don't know, Superman and Supergirl can't get the kryptonite, does not work for them. And so throughout all of the Marvel stuff, you see that. Okay, so I want to open up the floor for questions. One of my questions to y'all is, like, what has been your superhero moment as a human, right? Like, we're all humans, allegedly. And what has been your superhero moment? And then out of all the 5 characters, is there one that you like resonate with the most? Don't be shy. I have the mic here and I can hand it to y'all. Anybody? You can come up. Come on. No? Mom? Got one? Thinking? Everybody's thinking about it? It's okay. I like people to think. 50,000 papers. Okay, and so while y'all are thinking about that, I do have one more thing because so when I was coming up with this panel, one of the things that I thought about is, like, what's next for all these characters, right? So you have Felicity, you have Iris, you have Claire, you have Alex, and then you have Pepper Potts, right? I'll leave that screen up. But one of the things I thought about is, like, what's next for these characters? Because a lot of these shows have, like, ended or are starting to end, or we're waiting for another movie to come out. So post-Arrow, I looked it up, and the fandom is saying that Felicity could have the potential of making another appearance in the Arrowverse, and of course crossover episodes, because those are a thing. There's The Flash, there's The Legends of Tomorrow, and there's Supergirl. So when I was talking about all those crossover episodes, the hope is that Felicity will get to be on, like, some more crossover episodes. So I looked that up, and the Arrowverse it's like vast, and because not only the Arrow came out, but then the Arrow's sister became one of the Arrows, and then the dad came back for a second, and then, you know, there's always these, like, rekindling of characters. A lot of people are hoping that, like, Felicity, I personally hope that Felicity gets her own show throughout the Marvel's universes, because there's this big possibility of that. Okay, and then there is, I gotta go to them. Okay. The Arrowverse, multiple possibilities for Iris. She could encounter new charges. I know at some point Iris also crossed over and followed her daughter into her universe and almost met herself again. So I think that Iris also has this possibility of continuing time travel. I like the fact that, like, her and Barry, like, have kids and do all that kind of stuff. So I would love personally to see, like, the Flash family type situation, like a movie about the Flash family, and then moving forward. So that's my hope. That's some of the fandom's hope for Iris West and what she's doing. And then who else is there? Okay, Alex Danvers. Does anybody have any thoughts on her? She's just waving the other way. Hey. So what? Who do you resonate with? Felicity, why? Okay. Okay, I'll repeat what she said, y'all. So basically, you said you resonate with Felicity the most because she's Star Trek 1. She wearing a disco shirt, y'all. Do y'all know about disco and Star Trek? Okay, it's a whole thing. But she's saying that like when IT questions come up and everything, especially like old school stuff, people come to her. You know, I'm a millennial. She's a boomer. She does my tech stuff, so I know that's one. How about you? Yeah. You can come get the mic. I don't mind. Join in, friend. Give us your name first.
Hello, I'm Zach. I have first. I like Claire the most. I like Claire the most because she's clearly bothered all the time by being involved in all of this nonsense, but she's involved with all of it. Like heavily involved. She brought them together almost in the Defenders. So I really like Claire. Plus, I love Rosario Dawson. Like for sure. I just need to make that very clear. I have a question for you though, and I guess for everyone. Does it bother you? I think this is a great panel. I think this is phenomenal. This is a great idea and well executed. My question is, do you ever feel like, does it ever bother you when these side assistants, these non-powered women who help these heroes, does it bother you that they almost always turn into like a romantic interest? Like, do you not find that to be lazy writing?
Okay, so I feel like this is manifest destiny that you came to this panel because I literally left out the slides where it was like the romantic interest. Like I was looking up like what I'm going to talk about. And so it was these 4 things. And then I have the romantic timelines. It does bother me. And I don't think it's in the way of, okay, I'll say this. It bothers me because when I would rather see more episodes of them turning into superheroes than being a romantic interest. And so I liked when Tony Stark made Pepper Potts a superhero outfit because then she technically can always go fight, right? I like the fact that when I was looking it up, because I could have sworn that Claire had a superhero moment, but I kept looking it up. So if y'all tell me if I'm wrong, but I kept looking it up and I couldn't find one and I couldn't think of one. But I like the fact that they didn't give her one because being in medicine is like a superhero practice. I would like if, I think the Iris West and Flash thing works out. The one I see that I feel like Felicity didn't have to fiend over the arrow so long. That one, I could have seen her stand on her own. She could have had her own dudes. She could have been a tech geek and they could have remained friends. So that's a good question. Does it bother anybody else or is it kind of like that's the standard storyline, we're sticking to it? Yeah. Yep. Yeah, so what he said is like it doesn't bother, and I'm gonna say we said it doesn't bother us that there is a romantic interest, but then when everything around what the character does is of the romantic interests, which is a really good point. Anybody else? Does anybody else have one that resonates? We have like 4 minutes left. Do you have a character that resonates with you? I would say for me, out of all the ones that I resonate with, okay, all 5 of them, because I feel like in another world, I would have been an IT geek, but I'm a jock, so there's that. But I also am a cosplaying Comic-Con nerd, so there's that, and I love being a nerd. It's one of those things that I think surprises people, and I think that's one of the fun things about being a geek and a nerd and all that stuff is you can come in any form, and then people are surprised, and it's like, no, that's me. Iris West, I love the journalism. I love the inquisitiveness. I love her ability to like always kind of be nosy, but still help in the nosiness. The unbotheredness from Claire. This photo is like my favorite because she's like, and I give that look a lot. Ask my nephew. So I love that about Claire. In my head, I am a jujitsu warrior. So I feel like me and Alex are homies. And in the future, I hope that I can fight crime like Pepper Potts. So y'all, that's all I have. I really appreciate y'all joining and participating in this panel. And if you want to check me out on my social media, or if you're on LinkedIn, or you want to email me, or go to my website, they're all right there. You can scan the QR code. It goes to all of those different ones. I appreciate y'all's time about the side chicks, the non-human or the human help for the superheroes of the world. And yeah, y'all enjoy the rest of Comic-Con. I appreciate it.